Hey folks, this is Riker, bringing you an update on the upcoming patch 2.20 for Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. On February 24th, the files for patch 2.20 were uploaded to the public test realm. While it's not playable yet, the files have been data mined, and the good folks over at DiabloFans.com have gone ahead and posted the data mined patch notes. Check out the link in the description below for the full details, but we're gonna go over some of the major highlights in this video. And let me tell you, there's some really exciting stuff in here. First up, let's go over some of the new and updated set bonuses, as this will be a major focus of patch 2.2. First off, the Rend Whirlwind Barbarian set, Wrath of the Wastes, which was revealed at BlizzCon, is remaining mostly the same as advertised, however, it's even more powerful. What we saw was Rend lasts 3 times as long, deals triple damage, and Whirlwind deals triple damage to rended enemies. Well, what we're seeing in the patch notes is that it deals 400% increased damage, which actually means 5 times as much damage, lasts 400% longer, and Whirlwind deals 400% increased damage. Remember, you're adding the 400% on top of the base 100%. I personally cannot wait to try this out. Next up, the Wizard set, Delzir's magnum opus, is actually remaining exactly the same as advertised at BlizzCon. And as for the new Demon Hunter set, Unhallowed Essence, this one is also staying the same except for the 2-piece bonus, which is actually nerfed from generating 2 discipline to only 1 discipline. This really is the set that I'm most skeptical about, but I'll reserve final judgment for when I actually get to try it out. Next, onto the modified sets. Roland's is getting a revamp, and the patch notes only mention 2 and 4-piece set bonuses. So fingers crossed that this means that Roland's is being reduced to a 4-piece set. What this game really needs more of is 4-piece sets rather than 6-piece sets that just hog up so many item slots. The community has really been enjoying the 4-piece Sun Wukong set, which affords far more flexibility with regards to the rest of your gearing. The new 2-piece Roland's bonus makes every use of Shield Bash and Sweep Attack reduce the cooldown of your laws and defensive skills by 1 second. And the 4-piece bonus increases the damage of Shield Bash and Sweep Attack by 500%. At first glance, this still doesn't look like it can compete with permanent Akarats, but does make me wonder whether Akarat's champion is considered a defensive skill. If that's the case, then Roland's may simply be offering a new way to gain permanent Akarat, in which case we may be onto something here. The changes that we saw to the Raiment of a Thousand Storms monk set at BlizzCon have been switched around quite a bit. The new 2-piece bonus makes your spirit generators have 25% increased attack speed and deal 500% more damage. The 4-piece bonus increases the weapon damage of Dashing Strike to 5,000%, and the 6-piece bonus changes the way you cast Dashing Strike. Basically, when you cast Dashing Strike, it spends 50 spirit without costing you a charge. If you don't have 50 spirit, then it will cost you a charge. What I'm not seeing here though, is the major factor that made this set even a semi-good idea in the past, which was after using Dashing Strike, you release a shock that deals a ton of damage to all nearby enemies. If this is just flat out increasing the damage to 5,000, that's great versus single target, but we need a way to replicate that Sun Wukong clone mass explosion. Diablo is all about AoE damage. The Witch Doctor Zunimaza set is being turned into a 6-piece set, with the 6-piece bonus making enemies hit by your mana spenders take 100% more damage from your pets for 4 seconds. This really makes Zuni's the definitive pet doctor set, because this effectively means 100% uptime on double pet damage, but I can't say I'm fond of it being bumped up to a 6-piece set. Ina's Mantra likewise is being bumped up to a 6-piece set, with the final bonus being Mystic Ally casting Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, Lashing Tailkick, 7-sided Strike, and Wave of Light when you do. Basically, this is now mirroring the Demon Hunter's Marauder's Sentry set. The 2-piece bonus is being changed to increasing the passive effect of your Mystic Ally and the base passive effect of your mantra by 100%. So combine all these with the crudest boots that doubles up your Mystic Allies, and Ina's may actually start to compete with Sun Wukong's. For the wizard, Talrasha is again being turned into a 6-piece set. The old 4-piece set bonus is becoming the 2-piece set bonus, which basically means every 8 seconds a meteor falls from the sky. The 4-piece bonus increases your resistance, and the 6-piece bonus makes your attacks increase your damage by 75% for 3 seconds, and this effect could stack 4 times amongst the 4 different elements. However, this only brings the total up to 300% damage, so I'm still not seeing how this will compete with Firebirds. Or more specifically, I really don't see how this is going to make wizards compete with all the other classes. I feel like they dropped a 0 on that 75%. That should be 750%. This way, the 4 elements combined give you 3000% damage, since 3000% damage just seems to be the thing that they add to all of their awesome endgame sets. The Immortal King set is being changed, and I'm very excited about this one. The old 4-piece bonus is being changed to the 2-piece bonus. Call of the Ancients last until they die. The new 4-piece bonus makes Call of the Ancients melee attacks also deal 600% weapon damage in a 15-yard radius. And unfortunately, it's being made into a 6-piece set, and that final bonus increases the duration of your Wrath of the Berserker every time an Ancient deals damage. So it's looking like this may be the reincarnation of Infinite Wrath of the Berserker. Thank you, Blizzard. Now give us a way to combine this set with the Rend Whirlwind set. Make them 4-piece sets. I want both of these at once, damn it. And lastly, for the Demon Hunter, Natalia's set is also being made into a 6-piece set, and it is still terrible. No, actually it might not be all that bad. The 4-piece bonus is being changed to the cooldown of Rain of Vengeance is reduced by 2 seconds every time you cast a primary skill, and by 3 seconds every time you cast a Hatred Spender. This is a lot better than being reduced by 2 seconds every time you kill an enemy. So you'll actually be able to cast Rain of Vengeance more often than the set currently allows for, and the 6-piece bonus makes Rain of Vengeance deal 800% more damage. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out and compares to Marauders. My initial thoughts are that this might usurp Marauders for T6 speed clears, but that Marauders will still remain king for the Greater Rifts. Apart from class sets, there's a slew of new legendary items. For the Barbarian, we already knew about the Seismic Treads that makes Ground Stomp cause an avalanche. Those are in. We also have an item that makes Wrath of the Berserker gain the effect of every rune. That will go great with the new IK set. For the Wizard, we have an item that gives you a chance on being hit to release a Frost Nova. We have another item that increases the damage of Meteor by 100%. And when your Meteor hits 3 or fewer enemies, the damage is increased by a certain value. That sounds like it'll couple well with Talrasha's set. And lastly, there's another item that makes your fire signature spells cause up to 3 enemies to explode, dealing a certain percentage of weapon damage as fire to enemies within 10 yards. Because clearly what wizards needed more of was fire shit. For Monk, we have an item that makes 7-sided strike perform an additional 7 strikes, a defensive item that makes your spirit generators reduce your damage taken by a percentage for 3 seconds, and an item that makes your spirit generators generate a percentage more spirit. Although that last one sounds exactly like the Band of the Root Chambers, so I'm wondering if that's just some error in the data mining, or if it means that the amount of spirit that this ring generates is being changed. It could be now that generators will play a bigger factor, that this ring is now OP, and so they're nerfing it, or it could even be maybe that they're buffing it. We'll have to wait and see. We have 2 new items for the Witch Doctor. One summons a Fetish Sycophant when you hit with a Mana Spender, and the other one makes Gargantuan instead summon 3 smaller Gargantuans, each more powerful than before. It's sort of a reverse Tall Man's Finger, and I kinda really hope they call it the Small Man's Finger. Crusader's getting 3 new items. The first makes Justice spawn a Blessed Hammer when it hits an enemy, because we all know that Hammerdins are still a thing, right? The next makes Slash attack in all directions, and the third makes blocks release forward a Fires of Heaven. But overall, I'm not really seeing the Crusader meta shift based on the data we have so far. For the Demon Hunter, the Gauntlets of the Rain are making their way in. Plus we have another item that makes you gain a certain amount of damage reduction for 4 seconds if there are no enemies within 10 yards of you. Demon Hunters are presently perhaps the most fragile of all characters. and in Greater Rifts we basically get one shot by everything, so this is something that may actually help in that regard. I just can't imagine what item slot it's going to take up, because it can't be one that's going to sacrifice damage. Beyond that, there's a slew of items that aren't specific to any one class, and we won't go through them all, but some of the highlights include one item that reduces all your skill cooldowns by a certain number of seconds, and that could be a real game changer when compounded with cooldown reduction builds. Another item reduces the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by a certain value of seconds each time you spend resource. These are two separate items, and it's looking like Blizzard is trying to give us some additional options beyond sacking a whole lot of offensive stats to super stack cooldown reduction. Another item summons a fallen lunatic to your side every X seconds, and in case you forgot, those are the little suicide bomber guys. So at the very least, that should be cute. Another really interesting item increases your crit chance to 100% for a number of seconds after you've made 5 consecutive non-critical hit attacks. Theoretically, we can start thinking about builds that stack no crit chance at all on gear and instead stack attack speed. This would drastically alter the game. The current meta right now is all about crit chance and crit damage, and attack speed really is by the wayside for all the endgame builds. But if this works the way it seems, then getting your attack speed really high will effectively mimic the effect of having a high crit chance, and will just bring a great deal more variety, and can possibly seriously shake up the endgame. There's a new legendary gem that makes enemies you attack also take increased damage from allied players, followers, and pets. Now this gem seems designed for ZDPS builds. Now the Datamined patch notes also cover the microtransaction features that Blizzard has stressed will not be coming to North America or Europe. But really what I think they're saying is that they're going to test it in the Asian market, where these pay models are just gangbusters, and I'm certain that if they do well there, and that there's a demand for it in NA and EU, and there certainly will be, that they will bring it over. There is no way, heed my words, that the NA and EU community are gonna see what Asia's getting and be all, nah, we're good. So they're adding a new currency called Platinum. Now you can either buy Platinum with real money, or you can earn it in-game in a variety of ways. And you can use Platinum to do stuff like buy a hero slot, buy more stash tabs, buy cosmetic items, buy XP, blood shard, or gold find boosts. Now apart from those last three, which fall into the pay-to-win scheme, all those other optional purchases will certainly be welcome by the NA and EU communities. Now onto some skill changes. The Barbarian is finally getting a get-out-of-jail-free passive. Nerves of Steel is being changed completely. Now fatal damage instead reduces you to 15% life, and for 3 seconds afterward you take 95% reduced damage and are immune to crowd control. This effect of course may occur only once every 60 seconds. The Ancient's Blessing rune on Call of the Ancients is being changed to not be useless. Now instead of being a healing potion, it makes each point of fury you spend heal you and your Ancients for about 1,000 life. And the Duty to the Clan rune is being changed from cold to lightning for some bizarre reason. Monk's near-death experience will also make you immune to crowd control and damage for 2 seconds. For the Witch Doctor, the Fetish Sycophant's passive is being buffed from a 10% chance to summon a fetish up to a 15% chance. And the wording of Hex has been changed from hexing enemies into chickens to hexing groups of enemies into chickens. So maybe this means that more enemies will be hexed into chickens, I don't know. For the Wizard, Slow Time now automatically has the Time and Space rune, which enables you to cast it at your target location up to 60 yards away. And replacing the Time and Space rune is the Exhaustion rune, which makes enemies caught by slow time deal 25% less damage. Further, the Time Warp rune is getting buffed, making enemies take 15% rather than 10% more damage. But the Point of No Return rune is being heavily nerfed. Enemies are now stunned for only 1 second instead of 3 seconds. Which I'm a little disappointed to see, because I was excited to try out mirror image duplicates with the new Wizard Slow Time set for just maximum bubble chaos. The last thing we'll go over here is that some new thing called Cursed Realms is being added to the game. Now this appears to be some form of mini-game, perhaps intent on collecting crafting materials. But one commonality amongst all these cursed realms is that your skills and gear do not function in this realm, healing is suppressed, pets and followers are removed. And it seems you have to go around the level collecting vials. So it's gonna sort of be like Pac-Man, except each of these cursed realms has some cool gimmick to it, such as you drop explosions behind you every 2 seconds, or your movement speed changes randomly every 4 seconds, and enemies cast thunderstorm all around you. Or lightning strikes everything around you, enemies explode in molten death. While I'm excited that there's something new coming, I'm a little skeptical as to how this is going to play out. I would have loved to instead have seen these implemented as some kind of special rift effect. That is to say, something that mimics Path of Exile's maps function, I think it's called, where basically you can maybe spend, I don't know, 2 rift keystone fragments or even 5 to make a rift have one of these random, silly, cool effects that'll just spice the game up a little more. Now there's a bunch of other stuff that's been data mined as well, including the new bounties and some new follower side quest dialogue, but I think we've hit upon the most salient points here. So let's wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, check out these other videos, and if you enjoyed this one, share with friends, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders.